How much could that hurt the
Next year will be
ESPN Game of the Week. And now, the Fossil Creek Urgent Care Clinic pregame show.
Well, good Friday evening. Welcome to Comalander Stadium for tonight's Hobbytown High School Game of the Week. The Churchill Chargers and Reagan Rattlers in a District 26 5A matchup. Along with Eric Messersmith, I'm Jason Minix. It is the Fossil Creek Urgent Care Clinic pregame show.
Welcome back to the Fossil Creek Urgent Care Clinic pregame show here at Comalander Stadium, getting set for Churchill and Reagan. And Glenn Hill, the head coach of Churchill, joins us now. Now tonight, you look at this Reagan team, they're undefeated, 8-0, 4-0 in the district. What jumps out about them when you watch them on tape?
Oh, you know, everybody's going to say their quarterback, and everybody's right. He's special. I mean, he's really good. You know, they get him the ball in a lot of ways, and then he just takes it in a lot of ways. You know, there's times when plays break down, he may be at his best, and he's a handful. He's really good, and he kind of makes them go. You know, but they're playing good defense as well, and you know they're just a good team. They have been, and you know, for quite a few years, and you know they're going to be an awfully tough opponent for us tonight. But I suspect our guys will be ready.
Yeah, Ty Summers, their quarterback, a dual threat. He can pass it, but he likes to run it a lot too. Obviously, I know you don't want to give away your game plan, but in general, how do you try to contain a guy like that who's so good running and passing?
Well, there's no secret in giving away the game plan. I mean, we've got to stop the things that he does best, or try to. No one's been able to do that yet. You know, so for us to go into our meetings this weekend saying, well, we've got to stop him, running the football, because that's truly what he does best. Well, that sounds great, and we've got a great scheme, but I bet you other people have spent time on Saturdays and Sundays too, and you know those great plans sometimes don't come to fruition with great players. You know, a lot of his throws are because people are making such an attempt to stop his runs. They've got a couple of good receivers that we've got to contend with as well.
And you almost kind of have to live with that, right? Live with some one-on-ones in order to try to shut him down running.
We're going to try to shut him down running, and we're going to try to get enough people up in there to do that. But as I said, other people have made those efforts too, and other good teams. And so, you know, we're not going to shut him out. We have to contain him as much as we can, and we've got to capitalize on our opportunities offensively.
And then, of course, you have Ty Summers of Reagan. I mean, he was unbelievable last week against Johnson. 183 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground, 95 yards and a touchdown through the air. He's number 1 in the area in total offense with over 2,500 yards. Everybody knows that his game, particularly his running, is what makes Reagan go, but yet nobody has been able to stop him, really.
3rd down and 10 from the 22, and they'll fake the handoff, fires out in the flat. Knutson makes the catch, gets down to the 15-yard line. So now you've got a decision to make if you're head coach David Wetzel. It's going to be 4th down and a long 3.
I'd go for it. I mean, you're talking about a 30.
Go away. There's 4 minutes to play in the first quarter.
Your offense is so good with Summers. You should be able to get 3 yards 60-70% of the time.
They will go for it. And Summers will keep it himself, and he will pick up the 1st down and then some inside the 10, and he's still on his feet, finally brought down near the 7-yard line.
In a game like this, too, and when you think you may need some points, people say put points on the board, but you're also passing up a chance to score 7. And if you have a chance on a 4th and short with Summers, I'll roll the dice on that all the time.
He was nearly tackled in the backfield. Instead, 1st and goal from the 7. Luke Wilson in the backfield. Ty Summers worked from the shotgun, ball on the far hash mark. And Summers will keep this one himself, coming near side. Hits a player at the 5, and he will carry him down to the 2-yard line, just showing brute strength that time. Ty Summers says, I'm bigger, I'm stronger, I'm faster. You can't stop me.
It was actually pretty well defended by Churchill.
Pretty well. They can't defend it any better.
They had 3-4 guys out there on the edge, right near the line of scrimmage. Basically, it was 1 on 3 or 4, and somehow Summers was able to rush forward for a few yards.
Summers under center. And now they will spread everybody out. 3 receivers go right, 1 to the left. Summers from the shotgun, 3rd down and goal. And Summers will keep it himself right up the middle, and he goes right into the end zone. That was too easy for the Reagan quarterback. It's 13-7 Reagan. Extra point try to come.
Well, yeah, because an injury to Summers would would be just completely devastating. I mean, he's obviously your leading passer, but he's your leading rusher more than double the next closest guy. I mean, he is the offense.
1st and 15, ball back at the 20. Handoff up the middle and nothing there. Tackled immediately on the spot. Just absolutely nowhere to go for Reagan as Sly Everidge is there to make the stop for the Churchill Chargers.
Well, they've been running that zone read a lot up the middle last drive. They must see that the defense is paying a lot of attention to Summers, so he's choosing to hand it off up the middle to Wilson.
Fakes the handoff there, going back to throw over the middle, gets it to Knutson, and Knutson makes the catch up at the 37-yard line. That will be a first down for the Reagan Rattlers.
They had their signals crossed earlier a couple of times on incompletions, but that time, great read over the middle. Knutson, the play action again, freezes the linebackers. Knutson comes across the middle behind them in front of the safety, and a well-delivered pass by Summers.
Ball up to the 38-yard line, 18 yards on that completion.
And it's so hard for the defense because he puts the ball in the stomach of Wilson, and you don't know if he's going to hand it to him, if he's going to fake it and run around the edge, or if he's going to do what they did on that last play, fake it, step back, and throw a quick pass to Knutson.
Well, it's that half second of indecision where you get caught. 3 receivers right, 1 to the left for Ty Summers, going from our left to right. Hands the ball. No, he kept it himself and fires it out to Knutson. Knutson across midfield and will be tackled at the 46-yard line of Churchill. And again, what a great fake that time from Ty Summers. I mean, that was borderline flea flicker material. I mean, that's how long it was in the belly of Luke Wilson. 3 receivers right, 1 to the left for Ty Summers. Works out of the shotgun. Ball on the far hash mark. Summers going left to right from our vantage point. Gets the snap and hands it off to Wilson up the middle, and nothing there. The Churchill Chargers have made a nice adjustment from the first couple of drives where the middle was wide open. Now Luke Wilson has nowhere to go.
They have, and they were doing it before giving up the middle in order to contain Summers around the edge, and now they've tightened up the middle, so it'll be interesting to see if Summers wants to try the edge again.
2nd down and 10 from the 34, midway point of this second quarter. Churchill leading 21-14. Summers back to throw. Knutson is open, makes the catch at the 20, makes one miss. Inside the 5 is where he's finally brought down. He was thinking touchdown, but nice open field tackle in the secondary by Deja Morrow, keeping Knutson out of the end zone. But how does Cash get that wide open?
Well, it's the play action, and then they do it on every play. They put the ball in Wilson's stomach pretty much every play. They either give it to him, they throw out of it, or Summers around the edge. And it freezes those defensive backs for a second because you have to honor the handoff to Wilson or Summers going around the edge.
1st and goal from the 5. Summers will keep this one himself up the middle. Touchdown. That was way too easy for Ty Summers. His 3rd touchdown of the game. He's got the hat trick.
And that time it was the zone read, but instead of going around the end when he faked it, he just darted right through the line of scrimmage. 3 touchdowns for him and tied at 21.
2nd down and 10 now from the 44. 1:26 showing on the clock. 3 receivers right for Summers, who gets the snap. And it's a design quarterback draw up the middle. He makes a move, trying to break it to the outside. Breaks a tackle, has the first down, and gets out of bounds. Big time run there from Ty Summers to get about 12 yards.
That's what I said. Don't abandon the run. Although that was a called pass, it looked like. But Summers decided...
No, I thought that was a design run.
Well, yeah, he decided pretty early it was taken off if it was a pass. And you got plenty of time with a guy like Summers, and even now with 1:18 to go, you can run the ball here.
They do have 1 timeout, 1:18 showing. Ball on the far hash mark. Summers gets the snap and gives it to Wilson up the middle. Wilson breaks a tackle and gets down to the 30-yard line. That was a tough 4-yard run.
Yeah, now you probably, since he didn't get the first down, you need to move at a little pace here with the clock rolling. Under a minute now.
Yeah, there's no urgency in this Reagan offense. 2nd down and 6 from the 30. Summers from the shotgun gets the snap. He will keep this one himself up the middle, breaks it to the outside at the 15, stiff arms at the 10, stays on his feet into the end zone. His 4th rushing touchdown of the night. Touchdown Reagan. What a run. 30 yards by Ty Summers as Reagan takes the lead with under a minute to play before recess.
Whew. That was just filthy. I mean, he faked the run. It was the same thing as the touchdown, except from further out.
It was the touchdown.
Well, the previous touchdown. He put the ball in Wilson's stomach on the zone read, decided to keep it himself, and rather than bust it outside, he just went right up the middle. Then when he got into the secondary, he darted toward the sideline, then darted back inside, and then out to the sideline again. You feel bad for the Churchill defense.
Alex Webb with the extra point. It's up and good. Reagan leads at 28-21. We're back after this on 1250 ESPN San Antonio here on the U.S. Army All-American Bowl halftime show. 28-21, Reagan with the lead. Ty Summers with all 4 of Reagan's touchdowns, all 4 coming on the ground. Nate Pearson, the Churchill quarterback, has thrown 2 touchdowns, has run for another. Great first half of football, ended kind of ugly with a no call on a kick. The problem for Churchill, Reagan will get the ball to start the second half. And the way this game has gone, they've got to be able to figure out a way to stop Reagan. They only did that once in the first half, but that stop was balanced out by a fumble by Dimitri Flowers.
Well, you're right. Each team one stop up until the end of the half, and that's why I would have tried something. I would have, with 2 timeouts, 30, 23 seconds, whatever it was, I would have tried something, because that every possession is so critical. They've shown, both teams have really shown, that they're going to have a hard time stopping the other. Bottom line, Churchill's offense has been good. You put up 21 points against Reagan. They've scored they had one other stop when they missed a field goal. They scored 3 touchdowns. They fumbled once when they were driving, and they missed a short field goal when they had the ball at around the 10-yard line, and a 4th down came up. So they moved the ball, but Ty Summers has been better. I mean, that kid is unbelievable. When things break down, you can't tackle him. When they run the zone read and he runs up the middle, you can't tackle him. He is, even though you know the ball's probably going to him, well, he's the quarterback, so you know the ball, but you know he's probably going to run the ball. Everyone's in the box. You've got single coverage under. You can't stop him. He's better than everybody else. And sometimes that's enough.
And it is tonight. It is 28-21 Reagan. It's a good one here at Comalander Stadium. It's the U.S. Army All-American Bowl halftime show here on the Hobbytown High School Game of the Week. 28-21, and that is where we stand at halftime here on the U.S. Army All-American Bowl halftime show, Eric. And you think about Ty Summers, 4 rushing touchdowns. He's just filling up that stat sheet you're looking at.
Yeah, it's a pretty impressive performance. We saw him do it last week, both with his arm and his legs, and he's doing that again in this first half so far. Both teams putting up a lot of good offensive numbers. Reagan has more total yards, 311 to 258. Passing yards, it's Reagan 187, Churchill 118. Pretty even on the ground. Churchill 140 rushing yards, Reagan 124. Summers only 11 carries, 4 of those going for touchdowns, 58 yards total. Luke Wilson also has 11 rushes for 66 yards. He was a nice helper in that first half. Summers throwing the ball, 10 of 17 for 187 yards. Cash Knutson, his big receiver, almost 100 yards receiving in the first half. He got 6 passes for 98 yards. Jacob Ramos, 2 for 40. Zach Morrow, 1 for 38. Luke Wilson, 1 for 11.
Knutson split out to the left, 3 receivers to the right. And he's drawing double coverage, which is what you want. Kyle Pollard, the cornerback, but you also look and you see Colton Tice, the strong safety, coming over to try to take away the slant. But Summers will run it the other way around the right side, and he's got some running room at the 30. He's at the 20, the 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Ty Summers scampers in from 44 yards out. What a play that time by the Reagan quarterback. His 5th touchdown of the game.
Well, on the read that time, when he faked the handoff inside, he had been trying to run up the middle earlier on the drive and got stuffed on his last attempt prior to that. That time he took it around the edge, but he didn't go the whole way to the sideline. He went off of right tackle, and it was really well blocked on the outside there. There was no one around the line of scrimmage able to get a hand on him. And if he gets to the second level clean with a full head of steam, it's so hard to bring him down in the open field.
Alex Webb puts the extra point up and good, his 5th of the game. It's 35-21 Reagan on the Hobbytown High School Game of the Week on 1250 ESPN San Antonio. Clock. Kick goes out of the end zone, so it will be a touchback. Reagan will start from the 25-yard line. Had to be about the only thing that, if you're Glenn Hill, you don't like about that drive is the amount of time you took off the clock. The positive side is your defense got plenty of rest, and maybe they can come out here and make some adjustments with all that time to figure out how to stop Ty Summers, who has 5 rushing touchdowns on the night. His touchdown runs are 9-3, 530, and 44 yards.
And he now has 24 rushing touchdowns on the season.
And he's going to run this one right up the middle. Breaks it to the outside at the 30, 35. He's at the 40. Breaks a tackle at midfield. Stiffs arms a guy. Wow. He's at the 35, the 30. He's at the 20. Ty Summers at the 10. Ty Summers touchdown. His 6th rushing touchdown of the game. This one from 75 yards. A one-play drive. A one-play answer for the Reagan Rattlers. Are you kidding me?
Oh, he's a man. DeJay Morrow, the free safety, had him in the open field one-on-one, had a good angle, and he just ran him over. Gave him a little stiff arm, ran right over him. Speed, power, he's been unbelievable. 6 rushing touchdowns now, 25 for the season.
Extra point by Alex Webb is up, and it is good, and he's perfect on the night, the junior kicker. It's 42-28. We're back after this, 12:50 ESPN. We're halfway through the third quarter. Ty Summers has 186 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns. Eric, I've done high school football for a long time. I saw LaDainian Tomlinson by himself carve up the Smithson Valley Rangers back in 1996. I've seen Jamal Charles a couple of times. Andy Dalton, Johnny Manziel here at this stadium against the Madison Mavericks. Individual game performance, we're seeing something special from Ty Summers here tonight.
It's like a video game. I mean, he's just doing whatever he wants on the last couple of possessions, at least. Smizek
coming near side, breaks a tackle, and picks up 3 yards on the run. I mean, you think about some of the players that I've seen. Cliff Kingsbury beating MacArthur in 4 overtimes out at Alamo Stadium with an unbelievable effort on that Saturday afternoon. You know, going back into the 90s, think about what Gerard Douglas used to do down at Judson High School. Jarrell Wilkerson over at Clark. I'm just trying to think of some of the great players that I've seen in the individual games, and I'm trying to think of a one-man wrecking crew like what we're seeing here tonight at Comalander Stadium. They're trying to set up a reverse pass. Reagan snuffs it out, and Flowers will just throw this one away. And I wonder if they'll get him for intentional grounding back at the 20-yard line.
No, he was outside the tackle box, and there was a receiver somewhat close.
Somewhat,
if you're being generous.
In the stadium close?
If you're being generous. Well, 6 touchdowns. I mean, he had 19 rushing touchdowns coming in 8 games. So he was averaging a little more than 2 rushing touchdowns a game, and he has 6 tonight. That's pretty special stuff.
This is crazy. I mean, and there's still a lot of time left in this football game.
Nick Smizek for Churchill is a good running back. Carried the ball 138 times. He has 8 touchdowns all year. And Summers has 6 tonight.
He's 42-28. Summers out of the shotgun. He's going to Rice. David Bailiff has recruited him as an athlete. Wilson up the middle has the first down, and then some as he gets down to the 30-yard line.
He'll be able to help them somewhere. Probably won't be a quarterback, but corner, safety, linebacker, running back.
Here's the deal. Last year, he early committed to David Bailiff, and Bailiff maybe was thinking linebacker. But Ty this year in his offseason, talking with David Wetzel, really worked on his ability as a quarterback. Maybe he does play quarterback at the next level. A lot of it will depend on what David Bailiff has in the pipeline, too.
Yeah.
I mean, but you think about the Reagan quarterbacks. You go back to Derek Walls, when Reagan, struggled as a new school, developed into a playoff power with Derek Walls as Ty Summers takes this one up the middle. He breaks a tackle and he's off to the races again. Touchdown number 7 for Ty Summers. Are you kidding me? 31 yards on the run.
Well, he's shown his speed, he's shown his athleticism, and he's shown his power. And he's just a great combination of all of those. It would be a shame at the next level. I mean, I'm sure he could play defense and play it well, but he can do so many good things with the ball in his hands.
Ty Summers with 7 rushing touchdowns. An unbelievable performance that we're witnessing here at Comalander Stadium on the Hobbytown High School Game of the Week. There's the kickoff. Fielded at the 5-yard line by Dimitri Flowers. Flowers up to the 15. Flowers at the 20. Breaks the tackle. Still on his feet and finally upended near the 30-yard line. They're going to spot him back at the 26-yard line.
I'm looking at the Express News leaders in San Antonio area. 2 guys had 20 touchdowns scored coming into this week, so in 8 games or so. So Ty Summers has a third of that in 1 game. That's unbelievable. I mean, do you ever remember seeing a game where someone rushed for 7 touchdowns?
No.
At any level?
No.
I don't either.
Maybe Pop Warner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think back in my Little League days. Our running back, Herbert Jackson, he had some big games, but I don't think Herb had 7 touchdowns in a game. 4th down and officially 8. This is the game. Pearson back to throw. He's going long, looking downfield into triple coverage. Jump ball incomplete. Reagan is going to win this one. They've got to take a knee, and appropriate that Ty Summers will come out in victory formation. 49-35 will be the final score here as the Reagan offense comes out onto the field to finish this one off officially. An impressive ball game really for both teams. I know Churchill's going to be extremely disappointed at this final outcome, but they played a whale of a game. We just saw a very special performance here tonight by Reagan quarterback Ty Summers.
Offensively, they definitely played a whale of a game, but they just needed to be perfect offensively, and they weren't quite that good. And Ty Summers had a night for the ages tonight.
There's the knee, and this one is over. Our final score from Comalander Stadium. The Reagan Rattlers now 9-0 and District 26-5A champions. They defeat the Churchill Chargers 49-35. The Buffalo Wild Wings postgame show is next here on the Hobbytown High School Game of the Week, 1250 ESPN San Antonio.
The Hobbytown 1250 ESPN San Antonio Game of the Week. And now, the Buffalo Wild Wings postgame show.
It is the Buffalo Wild Wings postgame show here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio as the Reagan Rattlers knock off the Churchill Chargers. The final score 49-35. Whale of a ball game. All 7 Reagan touchdowns scored by Ty Summers, the quarterback, but he does all 7 of them on the ground. But he threw the ball extremely well. Just an all-around solid performance as he's being interviewed right now by KSAT 12. You watch over David Chancellor on News 4. His highlights should all be Ty Summers tonight.
No doubt. I mean, he was the story of the game. And you mentioned he made plays passing the ball as well. But what he did running was really special tonight. He showed his speed, his power, his athleticism. The guy he's a freakish athlete for this level, and you saw why tonight. And he really was the difference in this game. Churchill had a pretty good offensive night. Dimitri Flowers looked good. Nate Pearson threw the ball well. They scored some points, but it wasn't enough to match what Summers was able to do.
No, I mean, Summers was phenomenal. This game really was phenomenal. I mean, Churchill played a heck of a ball game offensively when you consider what all they did, keeping pace. It really came down to late in the fourth quarter. You missed the field goal. Churchill missed a field goal, and then Reagan was able to score. Then they got the ball to start the second half, and they were able to march down and score. As we go over the highlights, that was really, the biggest difference. You go into the locker room at halftime after the missed field goal. Ty Summers scored on a 30-yard run. So it was 28-21 at halftime. Reagan got the ball to start the second half, and it took less than 2 minutes to get on the board, and it was a big run by Ty Summers. Colton Tice, the strong safety, coming over to try to take away the slant. But Summers will run it the other way around the right side, and he's got some running room at the 30. He's at the 20, the 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Ty Summers scampers in from 44 yards out. What a play that time by the Reagan quarterback. His fifth touchdown of the game. 44 yards on that run by Ty Summers to make it 35-21. Churchill answers right back. A long drive, 10 plays, 67 yards, 5 minutes, 58 seconds off the clock. It was Dimitri Flowers with the touchdown pass. Double tight ends, Wildcat formation. Pearson, the only receiver. You almost even know, and they throw it out of the backfield. Lucas Signs with his second touchdown catch. This one, a toss from Dimitri Flowers. They fake the handoff, and then Lucas Signs slips off his block into the end zone. He got a little Tim Tebow-type jump pass from Dimitri Flowers. And it was 35-28 at that point after the extra point. The problem, the kickoff went into the end zone. It was a touchback. Reagan took over at the 25-yard line on that first play. Ty Summers was dancing in the end zone. He's going to run this one right up the middle. Breaks it to the outside at the 30, 35. He's at the 40. Breaks a tackle at midfield. Stiffs arms a guy. Wow. He's at the 35, the 30. He's at the 20. Ty Summers at the 10. Ty Summers touchdown. His sixth rushing touchdown of the game. This one from 75 yards. A one-play drive. A one-play answer for the Reagan Rattlers. Are you kidding me? Nope. 42-28 the score there. Then Ty Summers, he gets into the end zone one more time. Ty Summers takes this one up the middle. He breaks a tackle, and he's off to the races again. Touchdown number 7 for Ty Summers. Are you kidding me? 31 yards on the run. But that would do it for the scoring in the game. Our final score, Reagan 49, Churchill 35. With the win, the Rattlers improved to 9-0 on the season, 5-0 in District 26 5A play. They are the District 26 5A champions. The Churchill Chargers, they are now 5-4 on the season, 2-3 in district play. They didn't clinch a playoff spot tonight. They can tomorrow night if MacArthur loses, or if they beat Lee next Thursday night in the regular season finale. The playoff picture still very good for the Churchill Chargers despite the loss tonight. It's the Buffalo Wild Wings post-game show. We'll go over the final stats when we come back here on the Hobbytown High School Game of the Week on 1250 ESPN San.
Welcome back to Comalander Stadium, Buffalo Wild Wings post-game show. Eric Messersmith here with you. The win tonight for Reagan, 42-28 over Churchill. Lots of offense in this game. Reagan racked up 617 yards of total offense, 402 coming on the ground with 215 through the air. Churchill also put up a lot of offense, 396, 186 of that rushing, 210 passing. Ty Summers was no doubt your player of the game. 28 rushes, 289 yards, so about 10 yards a carry, 7 touchdowns. He also threw the ball 20 times, completing 12 passes for 215 yards, so that is over 500 yards of total offense. Luke Wilson also went over 100 yards rushing, 13 carries for 113 yards. Cash Knudsen had 100 yards plus receiving, 8 catches, 126. Jacob Ramos, 2 for 40. Zach Morrow, 1 for 38. Wilson, 1 for 11. It was a pretty good offensive day by Churchill as well, just not quite good enough. Nate Pearson was 13 of 23 passing, 204 yards, 3 touchdowns. Dimitri Flowers had 2 pass attempts, one of them complete for 6 yards. He threw a touchdown as well. Flowers receiving caught 2 touchdown passes among his 5 receptions for 83 yards. Lucas Signs caught 2 touchdowns as well. He had 5 catches, 96 yards overall. Brad Goforth, 1 catch, 27 yards. Nick Smizik had 3 rushes, 4 yards. Smizik also carried the ball 16 times, 78 yards, leading rusher for Churchill. Dimitri Flowers had 6 rushes for 59 yards. Nate Pearson had 9 for 49. And once again, Reagan, 617 yards of total offense, over 500 of those yards coming from Ty Summers, along with 7 touchdowns.
Yeah, Ty Summers, our Las Palapas player of the game. As it looks like I'm guessing those are the Reagan seniors out there taking a team photo as the district champions and having fun. They should enjoy this one. 49-35, the final score. Reagan, your district champions. Churchill, they can still clinch a playoff spot despite the loss tonight if Madison beats MacArthur tomorrow night, or if they beat Lee in their season finale next Thursday. By all indications, you would expect Churchill to end up a playoff team, although I'm sure they would rather win on their own to get in as opposed to need the help. But, because they beat Mac and because Lee is just struggling this year, you would assume they're gonna get into the postseason. But just an interesting performance. And talking with John Robbins, who did our stats today, while we're looking and thinking about some of the great running backs, what Jarrell Wilkerson has done, what Marcus Wright, Aaron Green, 7 rushing touchdowns. Has to be a quarterback record, right?
Yeah, you would
quarterback rushing touchdown record.
That was just an amazing performance by Summers, and that definitely was the story from this game. And the other story is that Reagan won a district championship, and that's a great accomplishment. And also, we know who the playoff teams from this district will be for sure. 3 of them have clinched. Johnson, Madison, and Reagan, and Churchill will clinch either tomorrow or next week. And now Churchill, they lost tonight, but they did a lot of positive things, particularly on the offensive end. And they'll probably, looks like, play Judson in the first round of the playoffs. We saw that game earlier this year, and it was a good game into the fourth quarter before Judson pulled away late. So Churchill's going to have a shot, you'd think, in that game.
That's going to do it for us here at Comalander Stadium. For James Pledger back at the 1250 ESPN studios, Greg Shelton, our on-site engineer, John Robbins on stats. He's Eric Messersmith. I'm Jason Lennox. Once again, after a 7-touchdown performance by Ty Summers, the Reagan Rattlers are your 26-5A district champions after a 49-35 win over the Churchill Chargers. Have a good night, everybody.